Joe. Welcome to the Joe Cortez Show here in Las Vegas, Nevada, the entertainment and the boxing capital of the world. Well, today we have the honor of having a special guest by the name of Virgil Hill. They call him Quicksilver, former five-time world champion, 1984 Silver Olympic champion, and it's an honor to have him on the show. Virgil, welcome on the show, buddy.
Thank you, Joe.
All
Nice
right.
to be here.
Hey, same here, champ. It's an honor to have you on the show because there's not many times we get a five-time world champion, especially somebody of your caliber who's done so much for boxing,
well,
and you've done so much for the great sport of boxing. We're very proud of you. Now, tell me, you were born and raised in Bismarck, North Carolina, North Dakota, right?
I was born in Missouri, raised in North Dakota. My mother's from Missouri, my father's from North Dakota.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
So let me ask you. So, what got you started into boxing?
I saw it on TV. I saw Golden Glove boxing on TV, and I said, at the time we lived on a farm, and I said to my dad, if we ever moved to a city, could I box? And he said yes. Now, mind you, a city for me is 50,000 people. It was
Okay.
in Grand Forks, North Dakota. Yeah. So we moved into the city. My father came home and said, "Do you still want to box?" And I said, "Yeah." Took me down to the local gym.
That's what all started. How old were you then?
I was 8 years old.
8 years old. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
And now you went
Played the
into
other stuff. I mean, I didn't just box. I played football, ran track, baseball, all that stuff.
was you being bullied in school that made you get into boxing or not? You just wanted to get into it.
Yeah. No, I wrestled too. So, no.
Okay, so you just
I just saw it on TV. I saw Golden Glove boxing. I was out of New York. They were wearing gold gloves in the finals. I was like, oh my
right.
God.
I
I'm trying.
I still have mine in my trophy case.
Do you?
Yeah,
Oh, that's awesome.
when I won the Golden Gloves in 1960 and 61, and back in those days we have 16,000 fans at the Madison Square Garden. I mean, now I think they did away with the Golden Gloves already. They were dwindling down to like maybe 3 or 4 thousand fans, and then went down to like 200, 300, and now there's no Golden Gloves. So I mean, somebody got to bring it back together. The New York Daily News used to sponsor the Golden Gloves back in the days, and they were around for about 50 years. But I mean, that's what got me started in the sport of boxing with the Golden Gloves. But tell us a little bit about yourself. We want to hear about the great Virgil Hill, the great fight that you had. You won your first title against who?
It was against, oh God, I can't remember. Leslie Stewart.
Leslie Stewart, okay. And that
That
was
was a 7-1 underdog.
okay. And
Yeah.
that was a light
And
that was the light heavyweight fight.
as a light heavyweight, yes. And the thing is, though, it surprised me because before that fight, I had fought 10 times because I was with Eddie Futch. I was trained by Eddie Futch.
Eddie Futch, yeah, Eddie
And
Futch.
I had, yep.
Eddie
And
Futch.
I had lost, I had a contract with Lou Duva and them, and they released me. And then I fought 10 times that year and got a title fight. And I was fight ready. And I ended up knocking him out in the 4th round.
Wow, yeah, Leslie Stewart. I remember him. That was a light heavyweight championship, and you already had
Yep.
won. You had won the silver medal in the Olympics in the '84 Olympics. Now,
Right.
after you won the Olympics that same year, you turned pro, right?
Not the same day because I didn't know. Like, nobody from my state ever went to the Olympics. I think there was one other guy. So I didn't know the natural transition was to turn pro after the Olympics. I wanted to fight the Korean again. And everybody was like, nah, just turn pro and stuff like that. So a guy approached us, my dad, my father, and I, and said, he was interested in managing and this and that. And boom, I turned pro with everybody else.
Now,
My
what,
first fight, first
what
fight was in New York
New York, all
at the
right?
Garden.
Okay, well, I never had the honor of refereeing any of your fights. I moved out to Vegas.
Yeah.
I got recruited to Vegas in '92 when I moved out here.
Okay.
But
I was just leaving.
yeah, I was never assigned to any of your fights. Now they call you Quicksilver. Where did that nickname come from?
So when I first started, I was a big Sugar Ray Leonard fan. So I was going to call myself Sugar Hill, right?
Right.
So my first fight in New York. So I got up there, right, and they announced my name. You go in the blue corner, Sugar Hill, and I was like, that did not sound right. Like I had to get rid of the name. And my father actually named me. He goes, "What? You got a silver medal and you got quick hands? Quicksilver."
Okay.
Well,
There,
what happened?
so Virgil Quicksilver Hills.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Now you fought. You made a comeback after you retired. You came back and you retired
I
again.
fought one more fight. I fought one more fight
And
at
that was against
50.
Jimmy Campbell in 2015.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was just a send off fight for North Dakota. Just giving me an opportunity to say thank you for all you guys what you've done and this and that and
Yeah.
stuff. So it
Now,
was a
now,
send off fight.
now you had an outstanding record in the amateurs. I mean, you had like 288 amateur fights with a few losses. I mean, that's an outstanding
Yeah,
record for an amateur fighter.
yeah, I was 288 and 11. I had a lot of amateur fights. Well,
288.
compared to the kids now,
Yeah. I remember when I fought, I only had 45 amateur fights when I turned pro. When I read your record, 288, I said, "Wow, well, that's an outstanding
everybody
record."
on everybody on the Olympic team had 200 plus, except for Henry Tillman.
Henry Tillman had a heavyweight, yeah.
Yeah, Henry. Yeah,
Yeah. Now you won the Olympics as a middleweight.
I did.
And,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
the silver medal was in the Olympics. And
yeah,
so in the middleweight division. Okay. Now
right.
let me ask you, which was your most outstanding fight of your career? You've had so many. You had the title and you defended it over 10 times, 11 times. Well, what was the outstanding fight of your career?
I think that not to take away from anybody that, but anytime you fight for a world title, is
It's
you
special.
know very very special. So um, any of my world title fights, they all were really special. I don't have one in particular stuff.
Yeah. Who would you
Yeah,
say
they're
was
all
your toughest opponent in the title fights?
unbelievably. It was coming up. Um, God, what is his name? Yeah, yeah. So one of my toughest fights was not even a world title fight.
Really?
Um,
Yeah, and
yeah,
normally that's the way it is that people ask me, Joe, when you referee the fight, which is the toughest fight you ever referee? I said, coming up, the 4 or 6 round fights, those are the tough fights. The championship fight really were not that difficult. It was the preliminary fights coming up. Same thing as you
yeah,
as a fighter. Yeah,
yeah. That
yeah,
was
yeah.
yeah.
Okay. Now you have a
That's
gym.
scary.
You have a gym now in
We do.
California. Can you tell us a little
Yep,
bit?
Simi Valley.
Can you tell us a little bit about your gym and where is that?
Well, it's just your typical, boxing gym. It's not real big. It's a tiny gym. But you got probably 60 kids throughout the day,
You have do
periodically.
you have any prospects there lined up?
I like to think they're all prospects, the ones that want to fight. Not all my kids want to fight. I have kids that have other issues, that bullying and just other stuff. I have females as well.
Okay. Well,
So
I think you're doing
not
a good.
all, not all the kids want to fight.
I think you're doing a good thing because that's what I tell the folks out there. What today was going on with all these crimes around the country. You got to keep these kids off the street. Keep them active.
Yeah,
Some kind of a sports doesn't necessarily have to be boxing. It could be any sport. But they're into boxing,
right,
and there they learn, and you can teach them like you was taught, discipline, your self-esteem, your confidence level. All that kicks in when you're involved, with a sport because you have to compete with somebody, and it makes you want to just feel more confident, more confidence in yourself that you can do things. And boxing is sure a way to do it like it did to yourself and me.
right. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm always,
Yeah.
have some 5-year-olds in there and stuff like that are test my patience every now and then. But when they get it and you see them on the heavy bag and stuff, and then they figure out the program, where jump roping's first, and then you go to the bags and you go this and this and this, and they know the system.
Yeah,
You
exactly.
know,
Yeah, it's a regular
it's
routine,
just
baby.
wonderful to see.
It's a routine,
Yeah,
and they have to follow it, and you gotta teach,
absolutely.
and that's where the discipline comes in, and this is what they
Yeah,
learn. This is what they learn. This is where they learn to respect as well. They have to listen, because some of these kids, they come from homes they don't respect their parents. They talk back to your parents in the gym. You can't do that in the gym.
no,
You never
not
you
not in
never
my gym.
not ever do you hear a fighter talk back to a trainer in the gym. Never, I never heard him.
No.
You know,
Not in my gym. I mean, look, I said it's not a democracy. It's
that's it.
not. You're not
No,
going to vote on nothing.
no,
You're
no,
not.
no, exactly.
Yeah,
He won't tolerate that in the gym. That's why we want you to come
not
to
at
the gym,
all.
and that's part of the training. Part of the boxing is the
Yeah.
discipline. You want
But
to
part of
learn.
it too is, it's that too, and I have them bring in, their report cards and stuff like that, and
Right.
and ask them how they're doing in school and stuff. So, you know, just being involved in a young person's life is just a wonderful
Yeah,
experience.
yeah. Now, in boxing, you held the WBC titles and you held the WBA titles. I mean, I'm sure must have those belts set up either in your gym or in your trophy case at home. Every so often you sit back and you look at those belts and you remember the good old days, eh?
No,
Especially that silver
gave
medal.
everyone of my belts away,
You
and
gave
I
them
have
away.
nothing.
You gave them away.
I I know what I did. I don't need to see it every day. It means something. It means a lot more to someone else that thinks it's special than me looking at it every day and stuff like that. I have no pictures of myself up in my gym and stuff like that at all. I want to put my kids up on the wall and stuff. When they accomplish, what they've accomplished.
Yeah, well, it goes to
So
show what kind of heart you have. It's not about you. It's about helping other people. You want to make sure the young kids rise up to the
yeah, I
level.
did it.
You did
Part
it.
of part of business is to become a world champion.
Yeah, yeah, that's
If you
it.
if you're not trying to be a world champion, I don't. Why would you box?
Yeah.
It's
Well,
punishing.
so what you're doing, you're paying it forward, which is what I told all my people out there. Pay it forward. You did what you had to do. Now pay it forward and bring them up to that level. 'Cause a lot of folks are afraid to make that move to do it, whatever, whether it's baseball, basketball, football, hockey, boxing, whatever, or anything in life. They're afraid to make that move, and you have to show them, I did it. If I did it, you can do it as well. You know, and
Absolutely.
and there's
I
nothing more.
think.
And there's nothing more rewarding than to see that you help somebody get to that level, and and they look at themselves and say, "Wow, thank you." And the best thing is when you get that call, they call you on the phone, say, "Mr. Hill, I will call you to thank you for giving me the opportunity. You made me the person that I am today." And that's what I've said to my mentors in the past. You know, and
Yeah. Yeah.
and,
Look,
and,
I
and,
tell my I tell my I tell my kids this. I'm just a little old country boy that come from North Dakota. There's 700,000 people in the whole state of North Dakota. If I can make it, you can make it.
yeah, exactly. That's it.
There's no reason. Look, you got to put in the work. You got to put in the sacrifice. There are just certain things that you have to do that you can't cut. You can't. You've got to do these things in order to get to this place,
Exactly.
and it's
Yeah, and
hard work.
and when I bring people on my show here, I bring people from all walks of life, not only boxing, but I bring doctors, I bring in people in real estate, I bring individuals that are all kinds of photography, movies, whatever. I always tell them, you can do anything, but you have to give it an effort. Don't ever give up on yourself. You have to believe in yourself. But first of all, you got to love yourself to making sure that you can do what you want to accomplish out there. I mean, we can all get to whatever level we want. Don't let nobody stop you. That's what makes you a champion. If you don't make it a champion in the ring, you make yourself a champion in life.
Which I most likely is more important, actually.
Yeah,
But look, everything is
yeah,
doable.
yeah, exactly,
You just
exactly. I
got to
believe.
work.
And then,
You got to believe in yourself.
exactly.
Yes.
Now, how do you see boxing today compared to the days when you were fighting?
Oh, it's way different. But I mean, if you say that, if I'm talking to you, you're going to go like, well, your era was way different than mine. You know,
Yeah.
you know, guys didn't fight for much money, but they fought tougher fights. You know, stuff like that. It's just generational stuff. You know,
So
now
you
you
think,
got you now you got YouTubers that think they're boxers.
yeah. Do you think fighters are,
They're making $100 million.
do you think fighters are being overpaid today?
That that's hard to say. Whenever you put your life in jeopardy, it's hard to put a number on that.
I
You
mean,
know,
I remember
can't
this.
say.
There were some fighters, like I believe Mike Tyson one time before, and it was for 140 million dollars. I mean, something like that. Crazy numbers like that you hear. I
Yeah,
mean, I
but
mean,
remember, Mike probably got that much money, but Don King probably got twice that.
okay.
So you know what I mean?
Why do you say that? Because he was a promoter.
That's right. Yeah, the Bob Arum, Don King, Lou Duva, all those guys.
You're talking about promoting. You're promoting fights yourself now these days, aren't you?
We do promote fights all over. We just had our last fight in North Dakota. We have a fight in November 19th in San Diego. We've already done one fight in California, and we've been doing boxing promotions for yeah like 10 years or
Yeah.
more.
Well, that's good. That's good. So you're going to be in the
So
group
we're part of.
in the group of Don Kings and Bob Arum, and be Virgil Hill in that group, making the big money. The
Yeah,
Don Kings,
I am more of the 4 round, 6 round guy. We do a lot of 4 rounders, 6 rounders. We help develop.
there you go.
We get a lot of developed kids that are coming up and they're 4 rounders and 6 rounders and stuff like that.
Now, what advice can you give to fighters out there that are making all this money these days, and they're not investing it properly? What advice can you give them so they can have something for a rainy day?
Find somebody that can manage your money,
Okay.
and then find somebody to watch him.
Yeah, exactly. So
Yeah,
investing their money
yeah,
properly. Now Mayweather's made over $1 billion in boxing as a fighter, and he's investing some money in different businesses. He seems to be having the right people on his side, from what I understand. What do you think about the
yeah.
way?
Well, he did it. He did it right. He did it right off the bat. But look who he had in front of him. He had his dad in front of him. He had Roger in front of him. He had his other uncle and stuff like that. He had all those guys that did it all wrong. He was able to do it right.
Yeah, he learned from their mistakes, and they got him on the right track.
Absolutely.
And he learned how to invest the money. And behind the scenes, a lot of people, he doesn't have. From what I understand, a lot of fans don't like him. I refereed him several times. I never had any issues with him. I had no issues with his style of fighting. And I think the name of the game was hit and don't get hit. He tried not to get hit as much. He was not a slugger like a Rocky Graziano or Marciano. And he's not a slug. He's a good slick boxer. He was hit and don't get hit like yourself. You were a pretty decent fighter. Look at you today. You're pretty sharp. You're not all marked up. Some fighters
I
get in there.
think
They retire from boxing. They look like a different person, all cut up, all broken noses, all cut up. You can't even recognize them as when they were fighting. And so, but he's a fighter. I learned from his father, who was a boxer, and he learned from his brother Roger, and his who was a world champion himself. So I think that he has done well as far as his investing himself, investing money into different businesses that he has today, because he probably learned from the mistakes of his family members, but from other boxers as well that have made hundreds of millions of dollars, end up broke with nothing to show, from their fighting days. So I think that it's good to get, like you said, get somebody to invest your money and stay active and do like what you're doing. You have a gym, you're training these fighters, you keep putting them on the right track, making sure they don't commit crimes like all these crimes are being committed, and you're trying to help out. You're putting a stop to that by what you're doing. So we're very proud of you for having the 60 kids in your gym. You're putting them on the right track and you're paying it forward. And that's what a champion is to me. You're a champion inside the ring and you're a champion outside the ring as well.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It means a lot. Thank you.
Yeah. So what else you want to tell us
Floyd
about?
is doing some good things. So
What's that?
Floyd is doing some good things, and
Yeah.
he's definitely someone that some of these kids should follow. Whether you like his style or not is one thing, but the way that he's investing his money and taking care of his family and the positive things that he's doing out there and stuff are phenomenal.
Yeah. See,
They haven't been done.
I think like what you're doing now, I mean, I didn't know until I read about it that you have a gym with all these kids that you're training in California now. And what part of California? How can they get, if they want to reach you at the gym, if they want to get to you, how can they get there? How can they make contact?
Yeah, my gym is in Simi Valley. It's Sports Academy, Quicksilver Hill Sports Academy and stuff. What kind of information do you want? The address.
You have a website or email address where people can reach?
Yeah.
What is that?
Yeah, my wife is writing it down for me right now.
Okay, good. Yeah, we need them once in a while to help
Everybody
us out.
has a good job, you know what I'm saying? Yeah.
And if they want to reach you by email, they can go to Virgil Hill.
Quicksilver Hill. What? Oh, man. 2722 Los Angeles Avenue, Simi Valley, 93065.
Okay, give me a phone number.
My phone number is 818-635-3665.
Okay, so they can reach you at that number as well. So they want to go to your gym.
Yeah.
And who's your sponsors for your gym? Did these kids pay for the gym, or are they being sponsored by anybody, or what?
Me, myself, and I.
Okay, that's 3 good people there.
Yeah. I sponsor it. I run it.
So the kids go there, work out for free. That you don't charge. There's no fees.
No.
No.
No, there are fees.
So we gotta get individuals out there to help sponsor your gym to help you out with these kids with the boxing equipment.
Yeah, but I always believe that you have to have a vested interest in what you're doing.
Right.
And stuff. And I see a lot of waste when things are just given out and people get them and they don't have any appreciation for it because there's no value to them and they just leave it. So when you have a vested interest in what you're doing, you're more apt to take care of your equipment, show up, be on time, stuff like that.
Yeah.
I think everybody, even if you have to pay something, whether it's money or whether it's time in the gym or whether it's spending time with some kids and stuff, you have to do something.
Yeah, that's good. That's great. Well, there's not too many people out there like you, and that's why we're very proud of you. That's why I want to get you. I heard about your good deeds that you're doing. I said, I got to get Virgil on the show because he's an individual that he'd be a great example of what our leaders should be doing out there today. People in the community, not only champions like yourself, but individuals out there that can either be policemen, they can be teachers, they can be realtors, they could be any kind of walks of life. Want to give back to the community, invest some time to the community with the kids, help them out, keep them on the right track. Because that's what I think is happening in the country now. Too many crimes. The crimes are rising all over the country, worse than ever. And I think that people like yourself are needed to keep the kids off the street and keep them focused for a better future.
Yeah, well, we got to get our values back, man. We got to,
Let me ask you a question.
Self-worth back.
I agree with you. Let me ask you a question. If you was to be in boxing today, who would you love to challenge? Let's say you look at these fighters that we have, and you're in the light heavyweight and the cruiserweight division. you say to yourself, if I was to fight again, I would like to fight who?
Well, there's really nobody in the light heavyweight or cruiserweight division that's going to generate any kind of money, unless Canelo bounces up there or something.
Canelo, eh? Yeah,
Yeah, I mean,
Canelo
you
went up
know,
to 175, and he lost. He lost as one of his second. That was the second loss of his career. 'Cause I don't think he's not that big to come up to 175. See, you got the height. You're 6'1", and you have the height. You have the reach. You had all that going for you. And you were able to develop it to a cruiserweight. Whereas Canelo
yeah.
he's about 5'10", and to go to light heavyweight. And I mean, I think that's why he had that loss. He couldn't compete at that level. His opponent was too strong for him. But he went back down to regular fighting weight at 168. That way he should be fighting no
He was
more
a
than
54-pounder. He went up. It's easier up there.
yeah. Well, he
You know,
he had difficulties there, but I think he should stay no more than 168. You agree?
stay at middleweight. Period. He's not a super middleweight. He's not a light heavyweight. He's not a cruiserweight.
Middleweight, good class, 54 and 60, right?
Yeah, that. But he went up, and he's generating all the money up there. So that's one good thing about those weight classes in there is
Yeah.
that, he's in there, so you might get a shot.
Yeah, and his last
That's
fight,
funny.
the last fight he had recently, I think he made like about $60 million on that fight.
Yeah.
Which is not bad, considering that he went down to that 168. So let's see what happens in his career. But in boxing,
Yeah.
you need
He's
good
made
train.
my move.
You need good trainers like you. You had good trainers that kept you on track, kept you. See, that's what I like. See you retire and you're sharp. You're 100%, and that's what I like to see. I don't want to see fighters take unnecessary punishment. And that's what happens with a lot of these fighters today. They go into a gym. They got a trainer who's a mediocre trainer, and then take this kid and start putting him in with fights. They don't show him the defense that they should be having. And in boxing, if you don't have good defense, you're going to end up getting hurt. It's good to have a good offense, but you need defense. Hit and don't get hit.
Hard to teach it if you haven't done it.
Yeah,
There's too many guys out there that have not done boxing that try to teach it.
right.
If you haven't been punched in the face before, you can't tell me what it feels like.
Well, back in those days, and we used to call him a gym rat. A gym rat was a guy that just used to hang around the gym. He's a rat. He's a rat. He's a gym rat hanging around. He never fought. Doesn't know nothing about boxing, but he starts training fighters. Doesn't teach them correctly. So these guys go out there, they fight, and they get hurt because he's been taught.
Yeah.
It was not a Lou Duval. It was not a Angelo Dundee. It was you got these guys.
Freddie Roach.
Freddie Roach, another good one. You got good trainers out there, that know what they're doing. Eddie Futch, another great one. You got Nacho Berenstein from Mexico, good trainer. They know how to teach their fighters to hit and don't get hit. You got to have that good defense to make it there. Now, what
I was lucky enough to be Freddie Roach's first world champion.
is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I might have refereed Freddie Roach back in the days when he was young, and then he became a trainer.
God.
He became a decent trainer,
He made millions of dollars doing it.
He made a lot of good champions.
Pacquiao was an awesome fighter, and now he's got half of Puerto Rico in his gym.
Yeah,
So he's
that's right.
doing really well.
Yeah, that's right. They're bringing a lot of fighters from Puerto Rico to Freddie Roach's gym, and they're working out there. And Top Rank is promoting a lot of these kids from Puerto Rico. I see.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Okay.
The more the better.
What last words you want to give to our viewers out there watching you? That people have forgotten that the great Virgil Hill is very much alive and doing a lot of good things. What good advice can you give our viewers out there?
Advice. Again, if you're fighting, you got to stay consistent, and you got to believe in the dream. That's the biggest thing. That's what helped me is I believed I should be there.
Yeah.
And all I got to do is put the work in.
But we want to tell you, Virgil, thank you so much for being on the show today. It's an honor to have you. I want to have you on again, but I want to bring you into the studio in person so that we can share good times together. And I want to take you over to show you my gym that I have here in Vegas, which is not open to the public. It's like more like a museum. All my memorabilia, and I got my boxing ring in there. But I'll catch you next time. We'll see you next time.
All right.
Virgil, good luck. God bless you always. Keep your guards up at all times. And remember, guys, I'm fair, but I'm firm. Take him up. God bless. Take care. Bye-bye. See you next week, guys.